These rallies seem to go about 20, 21 days or so. So from that sort of consolidation to that peak, from that consolidation low to that peak, that consolidation low to that peak, right through FOMC. Be careful here, folks. This is dangerous. If this is a bull, just let it get above here, give us some sort of W, and away we go. But right now, I think it's dangerous for you to actually assume that this is a bull. We're in reload zones. We're against downtrend lines. An absolute mess up here. I don't really have a trade signal per se. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of counter trend rally, probably through the Fed or even through that hour following the Fed announcement. So just keep an eye out for that. Really, you could argue just in the short term, this is the daily price chart. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. Candle body highs and lows for trade location. Hate to say it, but this looks like the top end of your trading range. That's the bottom end of your trading range. And this is just our range. So enjoy. And as I've said repeatedly of late, I said it on the Sunday broadcast. Said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. For God's sakes, do not take trades on these trend line breaks here. If this is really a bull, then all it's got to do is just get its butt up above there, give us some bullish structure on the other side, and away we go. But as for now, this is just big hurry up and do nothing. Actually, you know what? The futures might actually be a better chart. There is that bottom end of the range. There's the top end of the range. This is the daily futures chart. And fascinating how we're basically come right into a massive sort of trend line apex here. And really, I might argue whatever the actual signal is, we can somehow W out here. Great. We're a bull. If unfortunately this is technically a 3-bar fractal, that means if we go through that low tomorrow, if this is the extent of the selling today, then that actually becomes an empire top. And this is just straight up with a huge gap right there. So look out. This could turn into like dump Vegas here following the Fed. This is a very steep move. And I've also sort of counseled all of you that these rallies seem to go about 20, 21 days or so. So from that sort of consolidation to that peak, from that consolidation low to that peak, that consolidation low to that peak, right through FOMC. Be careful here, folks. This is dangerous. If this is a bull, just let it get above here, give us some sort of W, and away we go. But right now, I think it's dangerous for you to actually assume that this is a bull. And ironically enough, over on the Ethereum front, this short is actually still working. So there really is nothing to do here. I've moved the stop on this sort of second half of this trade to a break of this high. If we do actually go out and bust through these, I think that creates like an AB equals CD, which probably takes us right back up against the original trend line. We don't need to see this winning trade turn into a losing trade. It'd just really be a question of, do we lock in profits or do we just have the stop at scratch? Might even argue if this goes and M's out, I might even move the stop down to this M so that if it busts this on some sort of counter trend rally, then we just hop. But what I did see, which was really interesting, if you're a fan of that ICT guy, I think this is a really good example of that bullish structure being broken. Kaboom. This is that sort of fair value gap with the huge just face rip move. And then counter trend rallies back up into this original topping location, 61.8. I like to use a mountain man level as sort of the reference. Actually is a trade location for me. And ironically enough, ran right into that trend line and just stopped on a dime. So you can tell if this thing, like I said there a second ago, if this thing goes and M's out and we actually see this thing trading well below that low there, and that low is 32.59 even, then I think the bear's back in control. And let's see where the hell the ultimate lows are. Actually, Chris helped me buy a couple names that I did like. So those are some recent purchases I did buy a little bit of that spell. Haven't seen like a huge price performance here, and I suppose you could argue good technicians. This was a V bottom. V bottom should be tested, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we have to come back down. Candle body lows for trade location. Probably trade back against this trend line, and we might even wash this low here. It was a nanny nibble, not really in a big hurry, but it's interesting how that euphoria coming out of that sort of July 4th holiday weekend, it really sputtered out here, right? And unfortunately, it looks to me like, and actually, I kind of pointed this out on a bunch of different markets. You know, the Bitcoin market, same sort of thing, and that Ethereum market. And I think you can see it really well on the Bitcoin chart, right? Remember, we said bottom end of the range, top end of the range. We're just sort of banging around here. I see the same thing happening on a lot of these cryptos. So I might argue on this guy, you got a whole bunch of trap bulls up top here, a whole bunch of trap bears down here. I might argue, you know, the entire range would be that entire wick and tail. And that's basically your trading range for crypto right now. You can easily see. And if anything, this is a really good lesson. God, it's incredible how many of these lessons I've seen of late on this. But, you know, if you had taken this trade here anywhere in this area with no real W on the other side of this trend line, how you feeling right now? And, you know, that unfortunately is like a tweezer's top. I don't know whether that's the textbook name for it. I've seen this pattern so many times over the years, but I never see the name of it, where you have these like two tails, in this case wicks, right above each other, and then you have like firm candle body sort of lows, you know, against these lows here. And this, unfortunately, if we of course trade through that low, that's like railroad tracks. But I noticed that when you have those wicks up there, and sometimes actually I think in the crude oil market today we had them as tails, these kind of multiple bars like this is a major brick wall, because you can imagine, you know, this day, oh, we're a bull, we're all gonna get rich, and then it fades, and okay, you got a whole bunch of trap bulls, then opens up, oh, okay, here we go, and then it fades again, and now you have like double dose of trap bulls in there. So, you know, this as just one example of these cryptos, you might find that we're just stuck and we just go sideways here. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, this is this kind of market state right now.